Hello, everyone. Reginald Peoples here with RWB Sports. You know, we try to get around to the metro Pennsylvania area to where all the gyms here are doing great things in the community. Today, we've had a chance to travel to 4700 North 5th Street in Temple, PA at Unconquered Fitness and Wellness. You've seen him on the show before when we was at BTV at the studio. We've interviewed his daughter, Elisa, but now we're here in his home, what we call his home gym, his Unconquered Fitness and Wellness. And the reason that we're here today is because we travel a lot and we talk about boxing in many facets, in many shapes, in many forms. One thing we don't talk about enough is the uprise in women's boxing. Women's boxing is making a tremendous climb, is making a tremendous jump. It's very competitive with male boxing now, where at first, when it first started out with, you know, the younger or the elder female fighters of Christy Martin, Layla Ali, you know, those are the pioneers of female boxing. But it has taken a turn and is now starting to peak a little bit more than male boxing. It's becoming very competitive. It's becoming much more exciting to watch than male boxing. So here at 4700 North 5th Street in Temple, you've seen him on the show, like I said before. But now you're going to get up close and personal with him and one of the fighters that we are highlighting on this week's show of RWB Sports. And I'm speaking of no other than Coach Erik Spring and his fighter, who you've known and you've seen and we've talked about many times before, Isabel Lopez, as she makes her journey through TCL and also as she gets prepared for her debut on the professional level. Now, that will not go with unsaid because there's a secret in the pocket. There's another young lady who you've seen on the show before who we've talked about as she comes up and as she makes her progress through the amateur ranks in boxing, and how she's going to be a phenomenal fighter on the pro ranks once she gets to that level. I'm not going to speak of her right now, but keep your eyes open, keep your ears tuned to the channel, because you will see this young lady as she progresses through the amateur ranks all the way up to the pros. I'm telling you, and you've heard it from me first, that she is going to be a champion, right along with Isabel Lopez. All trained by my guy, Erik Spring.
Young rich nigga como Mbappé, young rich nigga, mírame el pate. Young rich nigga buscándome un check, carro en foreign y no estés. No soy de medallo, pero estoy blessed. Block 42 y no es de sex. GL, SUV, el jet. 4 Rolly, 2 AP. Young rich nigga como Mbappé, young rich nigga, mírame el pate. Young rich nigga buscándome un check, carro en foreign y no estés. No soy de medallo, pero estoy blessed. Block 42 y no es de sex. GL, SUV, el jet. Volado en el G5, esto es Louis V, no Levi. Duro en España como un Ibai, tomando titanes como Capitán Levi. Yo tengo esa grasa arriba, no los veo de ser libre ahí, like Young Buck Winchester DY. No confío en nadie, solo mi mind, yeah. Tengo a Biden en la muñeca, esta roleta es presidencial. Vengo a mi madre en la calle, le dicen Sol María, wow, ese niño especial. Ella se pasma a veces, pero sabe que solamente le habla no es real. Venga a ese campo jugando par de hoyos con Mateo, estoy tirando papá. Él está cabrón como Dios me cuida cuando lo que hago es pecar. Pero él conoce mi corazón, estamos claro cristal. Hablan de mí y no saben de mí.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Just as promised, we're at 4700 North 5th Street in Temple, PA, and we're at Unconquered Fitness and Wellness, the gym of Erik Spring, where he creates beast. And like I told you before in the interlude, is that women's boxing has become a thing. It used to be a thing of the past, but now it's become a thing. And I'm fortunate enough to be standing here talking to one of the faces of TCL in season 3 and one of the faces in female boxing who's getting ready to make her debut coming up here pretty soon as we track her career. And I'm talking to none other than Isabel Lopez. Isabel, thank you for taking time out to be on this interview with RWB Sports. So let me ask you this. Boxing in a whole and boxing as a female, coming up from, the Christy Martins, the Layla Alis, and now on to the Serenos and Alicia Baumgartners and the one that's right here in Reading, PA, Cruz. Where do you see yourself fitting in to that entourage of female boxers?
I don't really see myself fitting into it. I see myself dominating once I step on the scene.
Cuatro Rolly, dos AP. Young rich nigga como Mbappé. Young rich nigga, mírame el bate. Young rich nigga buscándome un check. Carro y foreign y no estés. No soy de medallo, pero estoy blessed. Block 42 y no es de sex. GL, SUV, el jet. Cuatro Rolly, dos AP. Young rich nigga como Mbappé. Young rich nigga, mírame el bate. Young rich nigga buscándome un check. Carro y foreign y no estés. No soy de medallo, pero estoy blessed. Block 42 y no es de sex. GL, SUV, el jet.
I don't need a ghost rider, Rolls Royce Snow White. Cap in the paddock, I'm cap in the rolling, young rich nigga. Pretty the one I adore, hundreds of thousands or more, I'm spending galore. Copping new diamond for sure, spending new money for sure. 680 Maybach for sure, do what I say, that's for sure. Took margaritas and play by the shore for the one I adore. Ain't taking shorts, proud of me, Glock on me, ready for war. Popping outside with my goons at the door, try not to slide with these niggas some whores. Try to be modest on how every summer. I gave you turn up and take up another. Hold down the mall just to shop different levels. Certified stars, got certified bells. Dancing with the devil, got certified hitters. Smoke you like hookah, I'm lounging with killers. I need a taxi.
Okay. And what makes you feel as though, you have that extra oomph that's going to, put you in the spotlight? We all know just by looking at you that you are a very attractive young lady. So what about the skill set? Because we know that, a lot of these female fighters, they have a pedigree of amateur sports, okay? You don't have so much of a pedigree, but yet you are a force in female boxing. What makes you that force?
My work ethic. I work incredibly hard, and honestly, I love a good underdog story, and I really feel like without having that amateur experience, that amateur pedigree to cultivate my skills and to really get my exposure out there, I've had to work much harder. Right. So once I do decide to step out and make that pro debut, which is coming up very soon, it's gonna be because I put the work in and now I'm ready. Oh yeah, like right. I'm here to make some noise. Right. And not only just with the work ethic and how much I want it, but cultivating that boxing IQ and really learning what the sport is.
Okay. That's my toxic twin. Feel like I'm winning again. Put on.
Cuatro Rolly, dos AP. Young rich nigga como Mbappé. Young rich nigga, mírame el bate. Young rich nigga buscándome un check. Carro y foreign y no estés. No soy de medallo, pero estoy blessed. Block 42 y no es de sex. GL, SUV, el jet. Cuatro Rolly, dos AP. Young rich nigga como Mbappé. Young rich nigga, mírame el bate. Young rich nigga buscándome un check. Carro y foreign y no estés. No soy de medallo, pero estoy blessed. Block 42 y no es de sex. GL, SUV, el jet.
And speaking of that, because I followed your career from TCL season 2, is when Philly Smoke first came into the league. You fought for Philly Smoke, and you went 2-2 or 1-2. 1-2 in Team Philly Smoke. And watching that career from then into now, there has been a major change not only in your endurance, not only in your skill level, but also your mindset. Does that have anything to do with where you train, where you came from to where you are now?
Yeah, absolutely. First, I feel like I stepped into the pro world without actually being ready for it, to be honest. I learned kind of the hard way that you have to have a good team around you that really cares about you and is looking for your best interests. And I entered into something that realistically I just wasn't ready for. And so that experience was priceless, and it was phenomenal, and it was very humbling. And it made me take a step back and make some changes and readjust what I needed, what I was looking for. And ever since I made those adjustments, honestly, working with Erik Spring, huge blessing to have him on my team, to to really be working with him. He's probably that key component of what gave me, because he was a fighter himself, so he knows what it is to be on that side, and now he teaches and coaches, and he sees it from both ends, so he can understand mentally what's going through my head, but then he can also have that outside perspective of, hey, these are the shots that you got to work on, this is the ring IQ that I found works for me, that I see works for you, and the way that he communicates it is very effective. And so having that one-on-one connection with him, I feel like that's what's really helped take me to that next level, that now I'm prepared.
Mexicano bandido, todo el barrio prendido, siempre ando bien cuido, siempre poniendo ruido. Mexicanos al grito de guerra, yo defiendo mi tierra, no me dejo de nadie, yo cuido a los míos, mi raza se aferra. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera, yo la levanto por donde quiera, verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera, el barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera, yo la levanto por donde quiera, verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera, el barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Me voy tendido, me voy empinando mi bote, un poco mareado por la bebida y el borlote, me tiene hasta la riata la gente con su mitote, pero me despreocupo, me pelan todo el garrote, me para la chota, ya es por mi apariencia, que hay tantos delitos, que hay tanta demencia, yo no cargo nada, no más mi presencia, pinche puerco joto, atente a las consecuencias, si no topa el boli en breve nos para en la calle, no puede salir uno conmigo porque ya hay detalle, no quiere que conteste, quiere que yo solo calle, quiere mi dinero pero que chingue su madre, a la dica este sistema nos quieren ver abajo, pero tumbar gente quien les dijo que es trabajo, puro chingar al indio, váyanse mucho al carajo.
And that's what it's all about, is about being prepared, because we go from season 2 to 1-2 to season 3. You're 2-0 with another. I wouldn't say it was a no contest, because it was an accidental headbutt that opened you up. But you are 2-0 right now. You're 2-0 right now with a knockout in there. So if anybody's watched your career, they can see that, you know, it's been a major change from season 2 to season 3. Now let's talk about season 3. First fight, you're now with Las Vegas Hustle. Okay, you got a stoppage in your first contest. Your second contest, you got the win to help your team come back. And in the process of watching that, even Team Combat League seems to understand her value to the sport, because they said that she is the face of a TCL right now. But the headbutt, it was 6 stitches, 8 stitches, 5 stitches. A pretty nasty gash, pretty nasty wound. You have the stitches out. What are they saying, and how soon are they saying you're going to return to be the face of TCL?
Man, everyone has their own timeline. My timeline is I will be back June. I'm already going to be back sparring in very, very soon. So, you know, whatever the doctors say, they said give it, 7 to 10 days, take the stitches out. So day 7, I got them out. I'm like Superwoman. I heal with the power of the sun. So whatever the doctors say, that's going to be expedited by a few days, because I'm healing up beautifully.
Right, and the wound is healing, but you know, for those who care about you, please be careful because it can only set you back even more if you get in there ahead of time and it's not fully healed. And TCL is a team sport, and right now their 140-pounder female is absent from the sport right now, so you have to get better so you can come back and help your team.
Se armó la alianza más pesada del país. Todo el mundo ya conoce las rimas de estos MCs. Pa' ponerme más feliz, unos paisas de hachís. Mis paisas en el gabacho, bien truchas con la polis. Loco en Guanajuato, con los ojos bien tumbados. De coto con el quesada, rifando por todos lados. Atento si prendo un blunt. En cabina cuando grabo, represento Nuevo León. Junto a mi carnal el Davo. Cuando voy pa' Jalisco, el pasado está olvidado. Con el perro de la C, bien grifo, pedo y enfiestado. Chécate mi banderón, unido como había soñado. Bien bajado ese balón, compa lefty bien bajado. Puro hip hop mexa, hasta que amanezca. Pásenme un mezcal y que no se apague la yesca. Ya saben que aquí andamos pilas pa' lo que se ofrezca. Si escribo estas rimas es pa' que se enorgullezca. Verde marihuana.
All right. Now, once you are back in action, you're back in the ring, how soon can we look at you on the pro circuit, and how fast are you looking at moving on the pro circuit?
So I really want to get my pro debut to happening while I'm doing the TCL. And once I step in, I'm going with the momentum. I'm trying to get as many fights as possible before the end of this year. We're already kind of halfway through, so if I could get 3 fights this year, 2 at the absolute minimum, 3, 4, 5, literally just line them up. I want to hit the ground running,
Okay.
you know, as soon as possible.
Well, we're all looking forward to it. We're all following your career. I know that you are getting ready to have a new line of athletic wear come out here pretty soon. She's marketing the Isabel Lopez, the fighting wolf. You know what I mean? The fighting wolf. Without question. We always tease her all the time about being tough, about being a warrior. But not only is she a warrior, but she is the future of women's boxing. Women's boxing is on the rise. It's starting to pick up more than men. Now, let me ask you about, just boxing in general. I know you have your favorite fighters and this, that, and other. We had a spectacular weekend this past weekend. Normally, you don't have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday worth of championship fights, but this weekend we did. What did you think about that? Did you think that it was too much boxing for one weekend, or do you think the fans and the fight fans got their fair share of boxing this weekend?
Well, I love what His Majesty is doing, Turki Al-Sheikh. I love what he's doing, and I feel like that card was phenomenal, the way that he did it, the way that he went about doing it. He put the right people on, had the right exposure, right setup, everything. It was just ultimately up to the fighters to make it worthwhile. Right. And I feel like in some regards they kind of dropped the ball in that aspect. It could have been more exciting. The most exciting one, or like the one that got the most attention, was Rolly taking over Garcia. Right. And then people were saying that Tio was the one that looked the best, which no one really was expecting that either, because you had Haney and Garcia both fighting, and then after this they're gonna have a rivalry. So people were looking like, yo, you got to go and show that you guys are both at your tip-top shape and ready to go and make that mega fight happen. Right. And we didn't really see that. But the opportunity that they had was phenomenal, and even though it wasn't what we expected, we still got to get a lot of boxing knowledge and insight. Right. From the performances that we did see. Right. And then the day following, what was it, Top Rank card?
Top Rank with
Top Rank came through. Okay, we had La Raza on that card. We had some, the Mexicans, we always bring it, okay?
Yeah, they came ready to war. They came ready for war, yes.
And that I feel like the one before over in New York was great. It was cool, a little more entertainment, like the superstardom, that kind of world. Right. And then the second was actual boxing. Like that was, y'all brought it. Y'all brought it more traditional, but like that's what we wanted, and he brought the fireworks. Right. So I think all around, whether they were satisfied with the performance or not, we got to see boxing holistically, the boring stuff and the phenomenal stuff, and the platform is there.
Yo salí de la ruina, nunca se me olvida. Con disciplina y respeto sigo en la movida. Bien high, la vida es un freestyle. Disfruta lo que hay, vivo entre el bien y el mal, carnal. Crazy life todo el día, vienda live. Pinto tu barda con spray, lo que canto es real. Azules y rojas las sirenas que me persiguen. No suben pa' la virgen, salen todos cuando chifle. Mi barrio no lo pisen, que andamos todos grises. Maldito policía, no quiero que me revises. Prende la mota en Canala o en Hitter. Ando con mi flota y el dealer. Tenemos lo que se te ofrezca, tú nada más pide. Me dijo mi madre que de la envidia me cuide.
Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera.
Now, July 11th. This is going to be the second one that has been put on, except MVP is putting this one on in New York at Madison Square Garden.
Yes, sir.
An all-female card that is going to shock the world, put on by Jake Paul and MVP Promotions. How soon do you see yourself participating on a stage of that magnitude on an all-women's card like we said before? Women's boxing is on the rise and ready to take over.
Honestly, with all humility, well, first of all, it's not my timing, it's God's timing.
Correct.
So when the opportunity comes to me, my job is to be ready and prepared for when it does present itself. But I'm big on that. When it does present itself, I see that in my future. It will happen.
Almost definitely.
And like I said, I'm planning on entering with a bang and just going with that momentum.
Right.
So as soon as possible, you know, I'm staying ready, just getting sharper, getting more experience, and working my way up to the point that I'm on that radar and I deserve it. And once I get on that radar, they're gonna see it.
They're gonna notice.
They're gonna notice. That's my
notice.
job. Make them notice.
Right. They're gonna notice.
Yes.
Without question. Well, Ms. Lopez, thank you once again for taking time out of your day. I know that you got a busy schedule ahead of you. I know I seen you in here training. I seen you in here training others, and I know you have other things to do outside of here. So I want to thank you once again for taking time out to be on RWB Sports. And like I said before, I'm following your career. I'm in your corner. And, you know, no matter what, Isabel Lopez is going to be in the marquee in New York, Times Square, Madison Square Garden.
Put it in existence.
By 2028.
Amen.
By 2028.
Thank you.
All
I
right.
really appreciate it. Thank you for your time, too.
Always. This is Reginald Peoples with the Wolf herself, Isabel Lopez, and RWB Sports, and we'll see you in the turn.
Ábranse cabrones, llegó el mexicano partiendo sin necesidad de palanca. Todos jugamos en la misma liga, yo soy titular, tú ves desde la banca. Disfruto cada cosa que me pasa, colaboro y mi carrera se levanta. El mismo cabrón que antes no tenía nada, se la pasa viajando y dice que canta. Por eso me caga enfermarme de la garganta, pero aguanta, traigo mata natural y un